Just give me one sec. I'll get started here, guys. Yeah, so much crap to get started here. All right, welcome back. Chris Ivans, how do? Ayrton Senna, what's up? Emily Madison, Maker JP, Pickle Mage, howdy. So, man, I tried like hell to get this stream going last night, and for some reason, I have no idea. I don't know what it is with my setup here, but I have like a Camlink 4K, and the thing just does not want to read. I don't know if it's either my cable or my USB hub or like whatever, but the cameras weren't working. I was going to start the stream at midnight. I'm like, nah, it's too freaking late. So I was like, the heck with it. So I figured I'd just do it during the day today. Maybe catch some of you guys. Maybe some of you are overseas anyway. Using poop wine for sculpting paste. Sometimes, Johnny. Sometimes. Let me know if I sound okay. Music's too high, voice too high, any of that stuff at any point or whatever. So anyway, I haven't made much progress on this guy because I've had a hell of a week also. I found out I have to have surgery again. Nothing major, just like an inpatient surgery. I have like a, I think they called it like an epigastric hernia because of like my scar. So from like sneezing and stuff, I guess, it created a little bit of a hernia that has to be fixed. It's not going to get fixed on its own. So like I need surgery, which sucks, but that's on like the 12th. So I had multiple doctor's appointments and celebrating Lindsay's birthday and just running around doing all kinds of bunch of crap. So I wanted to get some of this. I wanted to be able to do some of this with you guys, you know, sculpt on stream. And maybe later tonight do like a gaming stream or something, but definitely want to do some sculpting. So anyway, this is where I'm at. I'll show you guys. There's not much. I kind of went ahead and roughed in a face just to kind of see what I want out of this because I'm still not totally sure. But then I just erased the whole thing. So we're going to do it again today, live. And then the funny thing is I didn't film any of that because I was just kind of messing around. So whatever we do today, we're going to erase again, and then I'm going to do it again, but film it because right now I'm using my camera. Obviously to stream here, so I can't do both at once, unfortunately. So we have just a generic hero bust. There was one thing I forgot to mention on the last sculpting stream when I was making this armature. This piece up here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but basically this piece up here, I will show this in the video. All it is two pieces of armature wire that are attached to the rest of the bust. It's like very simple and just tied together. But I'll show it. So if you don't feel like you missed anything. Let me catch up on chat here. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, like I said, just kind of a basic hero bust to have everything kind of accentuated to see where I want to go. I think I want to keep them like pretty muscular, obviously. It's going to be like the Super Buu version. So we've just got like major landmarks in place that you can almost kind of ignore this because it's just very basic, and we're going to rework kind of everything. But we'll just sculpt a little face on it today. See if you guys like it. Maybe you don't. I don't know. And then another thing is, like I said, anything I do today, I have to do again. So I'm going to basically just erase this thing and do it again on camera. Which is not the most productive way to do things, but I guess, you know, that's kind of my style. So we'll erase that, and then you know, I'll do it again on camera. But I'm gonna change the pose. So it's just a generic. What would you call it? Kind of a stoic pose right now. Usually Majin Buu, like when I think of Majin Buu, I think about like, you know, crazy like head tilt and how he's kind of like twisty and, you know, a little more dynamic. But just for stream purposes today, we're just gonna leave this and we'll see what we end up with. But yeah, let me know if you guys, everything sound good, music's a good level, all that stuff. Well, let's see. I want to start with. I have a little bit of wet clay left here that I'm going to use. Let me get actually OBS back up here. Okay. That way I can see. Yeah, I'm just going off my laptop here, so it's just, I have like no screen real estate or anything. All right. So yeah, this is some old wed clay that I figured I would just use up. I do have another whole like complete, it's like a 25-pound brick over there. This was probably about one, trying to think. This is probably one brick, 125-pound block of wed clay. For those of you that are interested. Damien Reloaded, thank you very much. Good. Okay, so I mean, normally when I get started, there's a few things you could think about. You know, I kind of tend to do. It's weird because I don't have like a super academic process when I sculpt. Like I try to be methodical about things, but it's almost like I know what I want, so I just kind of put that into the sculpture. Meaning, like I always say, like if someone gave you a piece of chalk or a pencil or a stick and dirt and told you to draw a circle in the ground, like it's like, you know, you'd be able to just draw a circle with whatever you have basically. So it's not so much like the medium that counts. So I do both additive and subtractive sculpting depending on the subject. So like this guy doesn't have a nose and he doesn't have much of a profile, so I just have the face is a little more bulked out than usual, and I'm going to do a combination of kind of adding and subtracting. I mean, I'll just like sketch things in to kind of see what I want and where I'm going. Is it just me, or does he not have audio? It's probably you, Mr. Gordito Gamer. Maybe just try refreshing. So, okay. So yeah, what I mean by that is like if you're trying to, it really matters more if you're trying to sculpt in scale, okay? So like if you have a certain scale to stick to, this thing is probably, it's like a little less than life size. It's not any particular scale. I just kind of sculpted until I ran out of clay, like the first, you know, block of clay. I'm like, okay, that looks good to me. I'm not concerned about making any larger or any smaller. Basically, the only like rhyme or reason I have for these YouTube sculpts is just like, does it look okay on camera? Like, does it have enough presence if I have my hands all over it and stuff? Like, I don't want it to be too small so that it's a pain in the butt to film or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at with like scale wise. So this is like, yeah, it's not quite, maybe like a younger person or a younger muscular person, but not quite life size, maybe a little under. So anyway, so yeah, usually I just kind of start, we'll get our center line going here. And a lot of the times, like I try to pay attention to, obviously where my upright is here, so that I'm not sculpting it kind of twisted. I try not to like run into the armature that way. Not that there's much armature to run into on this guy anyway. So I just kind of just get a center line going just to help me keep things, you know, from front to back when I spin it around too. I also apologize. I have it on this like wobbly ass Lazy Susan. So we got this, actually I put this back here a little earlier. So kind of see. Now the thing about Majin Buu too is like, I'm just kind of freestyling on this. Like I said, I don't exactly know what I want out of it. Like I'm just gonna kind of go with it. I want him to be a little more realistic, but obviously for you to be able to tell that it's Majin Buu. So, you know, I'm using kind of the cartoon proportions like I had on the printout from the last stream. And, you know, as far as like bone structure and a skeleton underneath, like I want there to, I want it to read like there is maybe some bone structure under there, but he's kind of, you know, anybody that's familiar with the cartoon, he's kind of like putty-like, you know, so he can kind of like shapeshift and do all kinds of stuff. As far as I remember anyway, I actually haven't watched Dragon Ball Z in a very, very long time, but I was a huge fan of it, you know, back in like the early 2000s. So let's see. All right. So I'm just glancing over at my, like I said, I have that printout from the last stream. It's just beyond my laptop here, so I'm going to be looking over there a lot. But just kind of get a little bit of a center line here and kind of figure out. And this is probably going to look like crap to you guys, but I'm just going to like sketch in just to kind of see where the levels are, like where I want the mouth and the eyes. So he's got kind of, yeah, it's kind of like eyes. He's going to be real mad. We're definitely going to give him a cool little grin. Like I said, we're probably going to tilt his head one way or the other, but I'm not going to do that on stream because I only get one shot at that. So I'm going to have to do that on camera. So that's, you know, for the video. But surprisingly, I filmed a lot for the video, but I haven't filmed a ton of the sculpting, just like obviously just up until this point, which isn't much as far as like filming goes. Trying to film like less and less, so that I don't wind up, I've got like 70 terabytes of hard drives that are full that I'm just like, I'm real tired of buying hard drives. So, I'm trying to keep the files down a little bit. All right, so we got this. Also, I apologize if I wind up hitting the mic a bunch of times with either the tool or my arm or something. So, you know, like I keep doing there, kind of running into it. Not used to sculpting with this thing in front of me. So, like, you know, as you can see, it's a real basic anime kind of. You know, you can even just do a quick little indication. He's got a little blowholes up here. Mr. Gordito Gamer, what's going on? Boo will absorb you if you botch this. Well, hopefully not. Werewolf, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see your digitally sculpted stuff. I love when people make like realistic versions of the Dragon Ball characters. It's so interesting to see people's takes on them. Clay Dabbler, welcome in. Raging Crobat, hello. Okay, so I mean, it's just like, it's so basic, it's ridiculous, but we're gonna do, let's see this actually real quick. All right. And we're gonna say, the first thing, the eyes, we're gonna tackle these eyes a little bit differently. They're not gonna be this shaped. We're just going to try to leave these proportions, but obviously they're not going to be these like strange anime eyes. So I'll kind of give you guys a little tilt so you can see. Just remind me to do this every so often if you want to see what it looks like, you know, instead of just this 3/4 view. Yeah, okay. So let's kind of, all right. This crazy, let's kind of put in a little, he almost reminds me of I don't know if any of you guys out there, I think I asked this before, if anybody's familiar with Kinnikuman, or in the United States it was called Muscle. Those little pink figures you used to get like in the 80s, early 90s. Right now he just reminds me so much of Ramen Man from Kinnikuman. And it's mostly just this like thing on top of his head because there's no parts there. All right, so we're gonna get this, kind of dig this grin, see what we want here. Probably give him some cool like fangs or whatever. Mess with the teeth in a little bit. It's like proportionally, I think that looks okay. I got to remember too that we're going to have this. Maybe I should actually start putting some of that on top just to give myself something visually here, because he's going to have this big tentacle or whatever this thing is on top of his head. And that's going to add some length, so it might throw things off a little bit, but maybe not. So hopefully everybody's having a good week. My week's good. It was all right. I mean, Lindsay's birthday was awesome. But again, finding out I have to go in for yet another surgery kind of sucks, but what are you going to do? They said it's basically, the surgery itself is like around an hour, maybe under an hour, and they're doing things like laparoscopically, which is minimally invasive. And recovery, like full recovery, is about 2 weeks, but they said, you know, for like 3 to 5 days I probably won't be doing much, so I'm hoping maybe I could do some like game streams or something during that time, at least, just to kind of show up here again. But I'm definitely shooting to have this video finished too before then, like way before then, maybe even next week, hopefully. Again, I was hoping to have it out maybe this week, but friggin' life got in the way. I uploaded some images online. I can share a link if I have permission. I don't know if you have permission. Absolutely feel free to. I don't know if I checked that. I know that's like a thing on my end, but give it a whirl. What clay do you use? Sculpey is not good. Oh, Sebastian Perez. I haven't used Sculpey in... Actually, the last time I used Sculpey for a full project was in that Hollow Knight video. And I only normally use it for kind of like bits and bobs here and there. I don't really use Sculpey much for anything other than like random teeth and eyes, or like fingernails, or just like random parts like that. I just once you start using better materials, Sculpey is like, it gets really tough to use again after the fact. Just so much, it's like the cons don't outweigh the pros. I think it's a really good material to get started with and just get your feet wet if you just want to sculpt something, or if there's something you want to try to, you know, you don't want to mess around with like molding and casting or whatever. But if you're going to get into sculpting, I would definitely recommend trying as many different materials as you can to find the one that resonates most with you. But I mean, I like I almost like everything but Sculpey, to be honest. It's kind of awful. Like, I like wax, wet clay, oil-based clays, Castelline, you know, stuff like that. But they're just much more firm materials. And Sculpey is a little tricky, in a lot of different ways that just kind of isn't worth it. Like, it's worth it to learn how to mold things. You know, it's worth it just to use other materials, you know, go through that process and figure it out. I mean, keep it in your back pocket. It's okay. Like, it's cool. It can be useful for some stuff, like I said, but yeah, I'm not really a polymer clay lover. All right, so I'll kind of stick a quick little brow on here. No jump scares. Yeah, I love jump scares. Man, that last stream was rough though, huh? So I found out I'm an idiot, and, well, I'm not an idiot, because the controls, I had mapped the controls, and for some reason it just didn't save correctly. So I thought they were mapped properly, so it just took me forever to figure that out, and like, I was having a hell of a time. But I don't know, the game was mid anyway. I thought I wasn't super crazy about it. But I do have a couple other games lined up. Someone recommended that I'm probably gonna check out, and if I have time tonight, depending what time this ends, and I got a couple other things to do, and then I'm hoping to be able to jump back on and do another gaming stream. And like, I hope you guys like those. I love doing it. That's like my newfound joy, to be honest. Like, I was having a lot of fun, but I noticed I lost had like a mass exodus of subscribers, which is unfortunate, but hey, what are you gonna do? You know. Yeah, no scares from a mentee. After that, I watched a bunch of other people play it, and I'm like, God. I mean, for one thing, I just felt like such an idiot because right off the bat, I'm like, I know you had to crouch to go down that stupid hallway, and I got stuck there because I'm like, there's no crouch button. But there was a crouch button. It just wasn't mapped correctly. But yeah, there's so many games coming out that I'm like, you know what? I like doing this. And what I'd really like to do is like have some stuff that if I'm excited about it, like stuff that coincides so that I could play the game and then, you know, we'll go through it, maybe take some like reference photos and stuff and then sculpt a character from the game, which I think would be cool. Because then it'd be like, you know, relevant. But I don't know, we'll see. And I'm still kind of, I know at first I was like, I probably should just leave these unlisted, but it sucks because I want to keep them up so that, you know, people can watch them when they have time, because and otherwise it's like, well, you got to be here when I do this, and you know, there's people from all over the world like to watch and stuff, and it's like that's not fair to them. And I don't know, I'm still figuring out. If you guys have any ideas with that, let me know. Those are the people you don't. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I mean, hey, look, I want support from everybody, but I'm like, I understand. I kind of understand, but I also kind of, I'm like, it's like, why is it so bad if somebody wants to just, you know, pretty much, I think with the exception of 2 projects, everything I've sculpted on this channel has been from a video game. So I figured there might be like a little bit of crossover, and it's like, well, I could have some fun doing this and, you know, people be into it. And I don't know what it is about like video games specifically, but it's like, if there's someone you like to watch, even if they don't have anything to do with video, like I would like, trying to think of a good example. I don't know. Like I would watch like, hell, I don't even know. Even like, can't even think of like famous people that I like. Any famous person that I like, someone who doesn't do any, you know, some just like a random actor that you might like watching. I'm like, I would watch them sit and play video games, like especially like a scary game or something. Like I think that would just be fun. All right, so see how we have these brows. One thing is we're gonna make sure that this forehead is a little more prominent. Okay, real quick. Ever tried 3D sculpting? Yes, I have tried 3D sculpting with ZBrush multiple times, and it's one of those things like every time I start up the software and I kind of get into it, and then I learn my way around it a little bit, and then I'll get some kind of project and then get pulled away from it for like months on end, and then every time I go back in, it's like I get a little bit further, but I have to relearn everything I learned before. And I'm not anywhere near the point of being able to take on like commercial work in ZBrush. And honestly, like I don't know, man. I can't like, it's awful because I know that, you know, it's like if I didn't have YouTube, I'd probably be pretty screwed just because of the opportunity that YouTube has created for me. But not necessarily YouTube itself, you know, because YouTube kind of messes with you, which is like not the best thing in the world. But yeah, it's like I can't quite get into it, you know, like it's not nearly as fun as doing this. I don't care if you wind up with a better result. I don't care if it's faster. I don't care the changes that you can make instantly. Like you get no argument from me that, look, for commercial work, you really can't beat digital sculpting. You know, you can hire someone who has a much lower cost of living. You could hire them for much cheaper. Maybe they've dedicated more time. You know, there's all kinds of little hacks and cheats you can kind of do. You know, like the little shadow box thing, and just having like kind of like you can almost like trace the thing, which is like, damn, you know, I wish I could do that. But I don't know. To me, nothing just beats the feeling of the clay on your fingertips, and then just like watching the thing come to life. And even honestly, I've realized that I've come to enjoy, sorry, I got like a hair or something. There we go. Just cat hair in my face. I've come to enjoy the problem solving because it's kind of carried over in lots of areas of my life, like not only like problem solving and like patience. And I'm not saying that like digital sculpting doesn't require any of that, because it's just a different skill set. Well, it's not really a different skill set, but it's definitely different. And there are definitely facets of it that are just way easier. And, you know, I don't know. It's good. I love seeing digital art. I've got nothing against it at all. I've got nothing against any artist, really. It's cool. It's cool to see. It's cool to see the progressions that have been made. It's cool to see like even how far 3D printing has come. But you can't mess with clay, in my opinion. Yeah, there you go. See, I would watch Jim Carrey playing Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, Jacksepticeye doing sculpting. Exactly. Hell, if he wants to learn, I'll teach him. That would be a stream, right? Shut my little heater off here. Yeah, rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. Traditional movies, but now ZBrush more and more. Yeah, everything is like CG. I agree. Things you can do in a person that technology will never achieve. Well, I mean, I guess it just kind of boils down to the artist, right? Like, whoever's like wielding the tool. Virtual reality I haven't even thought of that. I've been into virtual reality, not so much like lots of it. I've been playing Beat Saber and Resident Evil 4 in VR, and I'm like, I bought that link cable to hook up to my computer, but I haven't had time to mess with it. And I'm like, I really want to get into like Skyrim. I know they have those like AI mods where you can like talk to the NPCs and they have AI responses and stuff. It seems like there's a lot of stuff. I really want to play Half-Life Alyx, like all the usual games, basically. Bone Lab, I think, is another one. And then like emulation for games and stuff is really interesting too to me. Like I've seen a lot of cool things people have done with emulation. All right, we'll kind of get these eyes going here. So let's see. I'm just trying to think of what I want to do with this. Yeah. One thing is like, I'm not sure if I want to give him pupils, irises, pupils, or if I want to kind of leave the eyes white. But we can put those in, play with that, see where we're at. Just kind of get this action going here. What's cool is having the benefit actually. So with my OBS open, it's awesome because a lot of the times when I'm sculpting, I like to step back, all the time and look at the sculpt. Like I'll do that anyway, but or sometimes I'll take a picture with my phone and just even looking at the sculpt through the phone. But it's cool because now I have this OBS in front of me, and as I turn it, it's like a whole different view, so I can see if things are like lining up. And I know that the camera's a little off kilter there, but can ignore that. But pretty useful for this. So we're just gonna indicate a lot of people. I know if Chris Ivans still here, one of my longest patrons, biggest supporters, has had some trouble with eyes. So if you have any questions, Chris, speak up. Turkish, my Russian friend, I'm sorry, I don't understand what that is, but hello. Okay. So like real basic. Now I'm trying to imagine realistic. Okay. So there was actually If you guys want to, just remind me. I have a small bag of tools over here. I got to visit the Compliat Sculptor in New York City. So like I said, I went there for Lindsay's birthday. I went over the weekend and popped in, and I can show you guys my pickups if you want. I got a couple of tools, just some stuff. A couple things that I'm going to wind up modifying, but they make a good base. And these days, you know, like I could make them from scratch or whatever, but at this point it's like time versus money. So, but I found a couple of really useful tools that I was psyched on, especially like a smaller version of one of my main metal ones that I didn't even know they made. But if you guys are into that, I could show you. Ivans, you're in. All right. Just looking for like a small loop. Probably not this. Yeah, that'll work. Let's dig some of this away. All right, before we go too far here, let's get a quick little grin in. All right. Looks like an angry ghost. Still lurking. Okay, cool. All right, we definitely want to get like a bottom lip, so we'll kind of make this real quick. And at this point, like, you guys notice that I'm not being too precious, too careful with this thing. I'm just slapping this crap on here just to kind of see where I want to go, and then I'll worry about like refining it or getting any kind of likeness or whatever. The main thing I wanted to do is just try to keep the cartoony proportions before we sculpt any like realistic features. You definitely want to carve this out a little. Get these cheeks up. Get that grin. Oh, awesome. Thank you very much. Turkish. I'm assuming it's Turkish, hopefully. Yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. Like I mentioned earlier, I do have to have another surgery, unfortunately, but it's a very minor one. And it's outpatient, so I'll be home within a few hours, hopefully, of the surgery. So, but yeah, my scar caused some problems, but that's okay. After what I've been through, this should be a walk in the park, knock on wood. Okay, get this little bring that up a little bit. Which tools are you sending me? You know, I was gonna call you Ivans, but I'm like I didn't want to I didn't want to like make you feel bad or anything, because I know after you're just dealing with your cat. Actually, how is your cat? Hopefully all good. Is that sorting itself out? Or Luna, right? Hopefully she's all good, getting well. Because I know them vet bills can add up quick, believe me. Phonophobia. Man, I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've been so close to Mexico. I've always wanted to go visit there. Like, I love Mexican food, and I heard it's an awesome place, like beautiful. Closest I've been is to San Diego. But man, I've been wanting to get over there. Oh, guys, thanks so much. I'm just glad anybody wants to watch this. Otherwise, it would just be me randomly up here doing this, like, to nobody. Like, if the internet didn't exist, I wonder, I'm like, that's the thing, is, like, I would still do this. I mean, I'd probably do, like, you know, roofing or construction or something on the side, but I would definitely still sculpt in my free time. And I know that because since it's been my job, and it's like, there have been times where I'm like, I don't even want to freaking look at clay after some, you know, 6-month long project that I'm like, okay, I'm done. But then it's like, you know, 3 or 4 days goes by and I'm like, all right, what do I want to make next? Because when you can do this for fun, it's sick. I mean, when you can do it for work, it's sick too, but it's just obviously more stressful, like any work, you know, like any job or like whatever. Gonna get this. I like to try Mexican Taco Bell hard tacos. Oh man. I'm like, I gotta wonder, like, first off, they even have Taco Bell in Mexico. I can't imagine. It's like, I don't know if that's like cultural appropriation or whatever. Like there's no, I didn't see any like Panda Expresses when I was in China or PF Chang's or whatever. But I got to imagine if they did have it, if they did have Taco Bell in Mexico, it's probably insane. Using construction cement to make a masterpiece? Yeah. No, probably not. I actually, there was this car wash that I helped build. I helped lay bricks like a long time ago. I think I was like 19 or 20 or something like that. And every time I drive by it, I'm like, I helped build that car wash. I gotta tell everybody. They're like, okay, shut up, Chris. Back to sculpting. All right. So we kind of have something going on here. Let's get a little chin on him. Oh, she's mobile, not 100%, shuffling around on her knees, kind of awesome. Well, glad to hear she's still up and around and everything. I mean, keep me posted. I keep her in my thoughts. Poor kitty. Let's get a little... What kind of expression? Tim Roseberry. Thanks, man. Super appreciate it. Make me want to go to my workshop, but it's freezing. Maker JP, man, I feel you. It's like, it's finally like, today I think is like 43 degrees in New England. It feels like a heat wave. It's been, man, it's supposed to get down to like 6 degrees or 4 degrees or something like that this week. And I'm just like, ugh. But this past week was rough. I didn't want to be up here myself either, especially like working with this clay. It's like, it just turns into a big hunk of ice. Like it's still workable, but it's just freezing ass cold. So, and then, you know, like this part isn't so bad, but when I'm building the thing up, you get it all over your hand. So like, you guys can't really see, but I have this. I got this big jug of water right here that I kind of use as like a little wash basin. And I fill it with hot water, but when it gets cold, it really sucks. Historical sculptors were able to stream their work. Yeah, right? I mean, we're lucky. Like Bob Ross is almost there. I know he's not historical, but legend. Pretty cool that they stream his stuff. Random, too. Like, I don't know. Seems like such a random thing. Like, I almost wonder that kind of started off as a joke, but then people realized how awesome that dude was, and they were like, oh, no, this is actually good, so let's not make fun of it or whatever. Mariachi Muerto. It is. This clay, this is wed clay, not wet clay, wed clay, like W-E-D, which is developed by Disney. This stands for Walter Elias Disney. And it is awesome, especially for like larger pieces like this. It has no memory, sticks to itself really well. You don't have to like knead it a bunch, you know, you just kind of like, it's so much fun to use. Like easily one of my most favorite materials, but really suited better for larger pieces. Cleaning my room's been getting tough as well. And I'm in Cali. Oh boy. Yeah, I could tell you that this is a trade-off. Like wet clay is like, yeah, your hands will get cold, but if you're using Chavant in the cold, trying to keep that stuff warm is like, man, freaking projects take forever. Like, I don't know how many of you guys watched that last, not the last video, but one, like a few videos back, I did a character called a Scrake for, you know, I don't know if I can, like, I don't know what's with all these people saying unaliving, but the name of the game is like, if I can say it, like, I don't know if I'll get like banned, but I've been seeing all kinds of stuff. People don't say the word, so they say unaliving instead of that word. So it's Unaliving Floor 3, which is coming out. And I'm like, I put that in the title of the video, and I don't know if that had anything to do with like the reach just seemed kind of particularly bad on it, but I thought it was a good video. Anyway, that whole thing was done in Chavant, and it was mostly during the winter months, and it was hell just to build up, you know. And like I even try to take like a shortcut by making a big foam armature and then brushing the clay on, but it still took forever just to keep the stuff warm and like get it onto the sculpt, because it was just like, it was so cold up here. But I'm in like a super old house. Like this house is built in like 1896, which is like, I think it's like 4 years after the first camera was made, or before the first camera was made. Like first vehicles, like there were like gas lights in this house, like gas lamps. And it's old, and it's been like insulated, but the windows need to be redone. And I don't know if where I'm at right now was like the servants' quarters. Like honestly, it was probably like a servants' quarters thing, but there's no heat or anything. So I just have this tiny little crappy space heater. So I don't know, but it gets rough in the winter, and in the summer it's not so bad because it cools better than it heats. So like an air conditioner really does the trick. I definitely prefer being up here in the summertime. Usually just kind of like shorts, sandals, a tank top, and it's nice. Or even like barefoot sometimes, you know. It's a lot more comfortable, but today it's not too bad. I had the heater running for a little bit. And like I said, but it's like 44 degrees or something. Like the windows, you can't see behind here. I did some redecorating too. I don't know if you guys can kind of tell. I should probably show the full face webcam thing, but behind these windows, like it's actually light outside here, but I took big pieces of like the green insulation foam, like the same stuff I made that Scrake armature out of, and cut them exactly to the windows so that there's no drafts or anything. So it's like this room is probably the best insulated that it could be. Because I know they just did the attic, which is what's above me. Like I'm on the 3rd floor right now. And yeah, it does an okay job, but man, when it gets to those like single digit temperatures, it's like, I don't want to sculpt anymore ever again. Let's see. Oh, hang on a sec. Catch up with the chat. Positive, welcome back. Thank you again for all your help in the last stream, by the way. You're a lifesaver. Disney's first name is Walter. What a nerd. Yeah. Dragonian Kid, thank you very much. Volta Ombre. Use a rice cooker or some electric pot with a heating function. Well, I have like an insulated clay oven thing that I made. It's basically like a box and a heat lamp, but it's just so cold that once you remove it from the heating element or whatever, and then like you have to think that you have this large mass that's just sitting in the freezing cold anyway. So like this thing's going to be a giant ice cube. So as soon as the clay touches, it just gets cold, and it's like, it doesn't matter. Like I would have had to have like multiple heat lamps and stuff, and that it would have made it really tough to film and probably cost a ton in electricity and all that stuff. So, I mean, but thank you for the suggestion, but it's like, yeah, it's like, it was a losing battle, man. All right. I'm kind of getting something out of this. Dig this out a little more. I'm like, I don't know if we should give him like little like nose holes, kind of. What direction we should go with this muzzly thing here. Actually, while I'm at it, I can do this sometimes. I feel like the biggest nerd ever. Albin Ficat. Yes, I've actually spoken with him before. He's an awesome artist. I think his work is incredible. It's unbelievably polished, super clean. I don't know if he uses, I can't remember if he uses some kind of wax or if it's polymer clay, but that dude can get polymer clay pretty clean. Yeah, I do know. I seem to remember, was it maybe a Hellboy sculpt or something? Like one of those cool, like geometric looking Hellboy sculpts. I've seen a couple of those actually. I've seen this another artist when I'm like live. I can't remember names worth any. Actually, not when I'm live, just in general because I'm getting old. What the hell is his name? Jonathan Matthews. I think he's like a DC sculptor. He's another one. Just anytime I think of Hellboy, he's done this really awesome like almost like not an optical illusion, but it looks like it's 2D, but it's a 3D sculpt. Really freaking cool. It's like really angular and like geometric, and whoever, I don't know if he painted it, but whoever painted it looks really awesome. They did a really good job. His ears are all messed up. Hang on. Kind of see how fast you kind of get these. It's like everything makes such a big difference. A common mistake that I see people make is that they don't make the head big enough or large enough, like the mass large enough, before they start sculpting the features of the face. So no matter how well they sculpt this, it's going to look weird or wrong. Just something to keep in mind. Not easy to sculpt while constantly sweating. No, it's definitely not. I've done that. I've had to do a bunch of work in Arizona, and it's kind of awful when you do. Actually, I did a lot of pumpkin work in Arizona. Had a workshop with the turbo insulation. It was hard to tell if the silicone, that's another thing. I mean, I think silicone for the most part is, like it's tough, but it can kind of help with curing times. Actually, no. When it's cold, it doesn't. When it's warm, it helps with curing times. Like you would think if it was like humid and crappy, but it actually kind of helps it. I mean, it all depends on the silicone or the materials. But then you might run into stuff with resin and stuff too, not just the silicone. Let's kind of figure out the shape of these eyes. I think that kind of like where that's going. We definitely want to have lids. Make it a little more, I don't know, not human, but so like I'll be constantly messing with these. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, if we have some bone structure going on, you gotta pay attention here. We would have a hollow, that'd be a small hollow right here, and this would kind of return up. You get this zygomatic arch. Figure that out. But I'm not sure. We're gonna see as this kind of develops. Just draw this in real quick. Let's kind of see what we're doing with here. Make sure you guys can see me too, what I'm doing. This. So if we had some kind of like fangs. All right, give an idea. You know what? Let's step this away. Andrea Blasic or Blasic, yeah, I'm a big fan of his work too. Another one that has a really good, really cool style. As far as I remember, it's mostly kind of like animated sort of characters, almost like that like Pixar-y look, I kind of call it. I recognize. I mean, I know the name. I'm not like an expert on these guys. I used to look at so much sculpture when I was learning, when I was getting into things. But these days I'm like, I don't actually like actively, seek it out. Like, I don't know why. I guess cause it's like every bit of free time that I get is like spent either like watching people play video games or like figuring out what's coming out for video games or like what I'm going to do next. And then to be totally honest, like a lot of like just trying to stay healthy takes up so much freaking time, like exercising and, paying attention to certain things like cooking the right foods and all that stuff and constantly going shopping and like just stupid like life stuff that I never thought that would take up so much time. But it's like, man, the hours just seem to fly by during the day. But I mean, I'm familiar with, obviously quite a few sculptors still, but by no means an expert on their work. So anyway, from what I remember of him or seeing his work, yeah, it's really kick-ass. I mean, I'm happy to see anybody sculpting traditionally these days. Because I don't know, outside of, personal projects and maybe YouTube, I guess, there's not a whole heck of a lot of reason to, I don't know many people doing traditional sculpture commercially outside of like, commissions, and I guess a lot of special effects work is still done traditionally, and I know there's a lot of like mask makers that do stuff, a lot of like Halloween prop type stuff, but for like figures and stuff, I know there's I'm sure they still, these people are still employed, but not anywhere, digital has pretty much taken over. Does Majin Buu have bones? We're gonna figure that out, Mr. Gordito Gamer. Yeah, little vent thingy, Super Boo and Kid Boo. I'll have to look up. I only have this little crappy. Show you guys real quick. Let me see if I can finagle this. My studio's got all these like stands and all this crap all over the place. So I have this printout that I made last time. And that's just kind of what I'm using for like proportions or whatever. So I see these little vent holes that he has, but yeah, we'll figure out a clever way to do those too. Yeah, but I'll take another look. I'll have to check online. Jay Gelser 22, finally able to catch me live. I have been great. Thank you so much. Yeah, everything's going good. I'm in good health. A small hiccup, but you know, it'll be taken care of. Nothing like it was. Let's kind of dig this out. K-Rex, thank you. Yeah, he is a beast. I love, man, the Majin Buu saga. I was like, psh. I mean, I was a fan of Dragon Ball before that, but I think I remember some of the first episodes I ever saw were from the Buu saga, and I just kind of jumped in. I was like, oh crap, and then I, you know, wound up watching it from the beginning. Klon Blurman, thank you very much. I just started streaming like a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I streamed a while back on Twitch, and then just kind of like fell off for various reasons, like projects and whatever else. And like anytime I do something, I don't want to do it like half-assed, so I try to, you know, I couldn't dedicate enough time to it, so I just stopped, and it's taken me this long to get back into it. But yeah, I'm trying to get at least one stream. If it's either going to be like sculpting or playing games, like just get one stream a week just to kind of touch base, chat with you guys, say hi, give updates and all that stuff. But thank you for being here. So cool that Disney with their new Star Wars show, Skeleton Crew, just used stop motion doll for. Oh, I haven't seen that, but I'll check it out. Sonic and Link. Yeah, everybody likes those two. Those are that Link sculpture, man. If I had known that thing was gonna do as well as it did, I would have spent a lot more time on it. I'd like to do an updated one though, to be honest. Like that was like the Breath of the Wild one. I'd really like to do like an original Link, like a vintage Nintendo one. And there's actually a specific, like a poster that came with, I think it came with like Nintendo Power, that I have in mind that I'd like to make a full statue of, not just a bust. And that one I'll probably mold and paint and everything. Just felt like sharing, working this very moment on my first ever life-size sculpture of my art. So that's awesome. How do you like working life-sized? Isn't it freeing? Yeah, Jord, I know, man. I know. There's so many things I want to catch up on, like, you know, anime and stuff like that. But I know I got to watch Super. I wanted to check out that the new game that was it, Dragon Ball Sparkling. I think it's like a fighting game. But yeah, I love Dragon Ball. I heard Super was really good though. Definitely worth checking out. Let me give this a little connection here. My Hoshi, does sculpting depend on drawing skills? Not at all. No, but if you can draw, it'll help. And I think the same thing, if you can sculpt, it will help drawing, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good at either, but it's certainly helpful. And you don't have to do one to do the other, but you know, sketching with a pen and the paper sometimes can help work things out, you know, faster than clay, maybe. Depending on your level of expertise. But no, absolutely, you don't have to draw. It's not dependent on that. But I think honestly, I think any kind of art form that you study, it kind of transfers over, like just the method that you learn, and you know, just like obviously like patience and God, I can never do this like first try. But yeah. I think drawing can sometimes be harder than sculpting, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I guess it all depends on the subject, the type, the material, like what you're doing. It's like art is hard overall. Can be an expensive hobby if you don't find a gallery to represent. But most of the collectors are more into paintings. It's easier to hang something on the wall. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can get away pretty cheap too, though, if you're smart about it. Breaks cost and get motivated. Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero is awesome. Yeah, I gotta check that game out. Like me working in the movie industry, because it's still a decent job, you can make sculptures. That sounds awesome. About to move to Hungary. I mean, sketch helps you see the sculpt. Yep, definitely having a sketch. And just being able to work things out faster. And honestly, like, I mean, if you're sketching onto a sculpt, like if you're drawing, you know, just, it's not like a drawing, but it just to be able to improve your eye, you know, like how good is your eye, like your measurement that you can kind of take with your eye, and just getting those tolerances as close as you can. But it's all like light and shadow, you know, form. Starting sculpting helped my drawing. Yeah, space vision. Awful at drawing. You know, Mr. Gordito, Perfect Cell, it was a toss-up. I was like, I don't know if I want to do like Majin Buu or Cell would be a really cool sculpt, and I may end up doing him anyway. Let me I'm just gonna get a quick like reference picture, a different picture of Majin Buu. That's kind of, let's see here. I want him to look like crazy, you know, like just really, I don't know, like just unhinged Majin Buu. Oh, you guys like my custom Yeti here? I got these like stickers a while back. I don't know if you can see. I kind of thought this looked like a big Play-Doh container, so I stuck my Sculpture Geek logo. I got one there and one here, but I'm like, every time I drink out of this. And then I was actually like, I had the idea too. It's stupid. I like Play-Doh, but I was thinking of painting this microphone to look like a can of Play-Doh, but I'm like, when the hell am I going to find time for that? So we'll see. But I thought it'd be funny anyway. Killer 7, yes, absolutely. Suda 51, big fan. Let's kind of see. Bring this down a little bit. So like I said, right now, for those of you, if anybody's just joining, I'm going to have to redo this, but we're going to pose him differently. Like, I don't know if anybody has any suggestions on the pose, but I'm kind of thinking of doing like kind of a severe head tilt, make him, you know, that kind of crazy, funny lean that he does. It was either that, I could push the head back, kind of put the eyes down, but again, I don't know if you'll be able to tell quite, because I'm not sure if we're going to put, actually, let's see what that might look like if I draw some pupils in here. Or irises and pupils, I should say. And this is probably going to take a second to get straight because I'm doing it off kilter here. Also, if you're here, go ahead and hit that like button. Is that what you got to do when you stream? Does that make a difference? I don't even know. It's just what people say, right? Something like that. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that. It's a little weird. We got to straighten these eyes out. But, you know, you get the idea for now. We could kind of give these a cool shape. I think I might do that. Really give them like a... almost like a... like one of those like Oni masks, actually. That would be kind of cool. Oh, on a live or 7. Yeah, see? Is that a thing? If anybody can confirm that for me, I don't know, man. I wonder, some of the stuff I'm like, this is stupid, but I wonder if it has anything to do with, you know, certain things being like blocked and not shown to people. I wonder if we get, let's see, just kind of playing with this right now. Let's see if we get a little, maybe make the angle of these a little more. Let's see if we get a little wrinkle in here, what that kind of looks like. Anything in the Resident Evil? I love Resident Evil. I would love to do a Tyrant sculpt. I did a Resident Evil sculpt a few years ago. It was just a kind of a sketch on my channel of the Super Tyrant from the whatever that remake. Is it Resident Evil? Which remake was it? 2? 3? The one with Mr. X? I think it was 2, right? I did do a quick sketch of him, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to revisit. I'd love to do like Jill or Chris Redfield, even Wesker. Actually, there was a point in time, there was a collectible company I was working for that was supposed to do a Wesker statue, but for whatever reason, it fell through. But I would have gotten to do that, which would have been awesome. Let's just kind of see. Got a little nose wrinkle type thing. Play with this. I don't know if you guys like the, can you see the eyes in there? I don't know if I like those. I think I kind of like them better. Like them better just blank. Maybe we'll paint them black or something. Do some weird stuff. Or white. I don't know. I'm just kind of messing around here and seeing what may or may not work. Let's give it like a... Mostly affects Mr. Beast. Nothing affects Mr. Beast. Ridiculous. That guy. Convinced he sold his soul. I almost want to push this further. You know? Maybe even change the angle of the eyes. Mr. X's sculpture. Thank you very much. Either way, Jill Valentine bust. Yeah, it would. That's actually hilarious. I was thinking I wanted to just sculpt a Jill sandwich. So for those of you like long-term Resident Evil fans, I'm sure you're familiar with that joke, but I think actually sculpting a Jill sandwich would be hilarious. So we're going to let's change the angle of these. Cover that. Yeah, I like that a little better. And we can kind of use that like a lid almost. See, like, I don't know, man. I'm having fun doing this right now. Like, I understand digital sculpting too is, you know, kind of the same thing where you can just kind of chill in your studio. It's obviously a lot less messy, you know, but like hanging out here, just sculpting, some music, some friends. It's like, I don't know, man. How can you beat it? It's like one of the only times I don't mind if it's snowing outside. Like, it's fun being snowed in, and just the only thing you have to do is sculpt. All right. Yeah, it definitely looks better, like, right? Yeah, for sure. Janelle Puns and Games. Yeah, it's going to be Super Boo. Don't pay too much attention to the body here. I'm going to do a lot of work on that. This is just like, I'm just kind of figuring out what I want out of this because I'm doing like a realistic version of it. So I really just kind of made this quick sort of hero bust to just so I could sculpt the face, kind of play with that today and see again what I want to get out of it. Mr. Gordito Gamer. You're a character, man. I like having you here. Keep this shit interesting. All right. I don't know. Hopefully the delay is pretty good on this too. I don't know if I mentioned that. I have it set to there's like normal, low, and then ultra low latency, but hoping my internet is holding out. So I have it set to low latency. So the interaction should be a little closer together. All right, now let's see. Push this up a little bit. Push this up a little bit. One of the nice things I will say, it's pretty good temperature today because, like I said, again, it's like 42, 43 degrees or something here. When you're working with, you know, wet clay like this, every once in a while it's good to just spray it down a little bit of water. But I haven't had to do that too much. And that just keeps it from drying out too quickly. Actually spray your stock there too. Yeah. Usually introverted. Me too, man. This is strangely out of character for anybody that knows me in real life because I'm very introverted, but it's like I don't want to pump gas either. So I guess I have to kind of be up here doing stuff and put myself out there, which is awful, but you know, so be it. But it's not that bad once you get, you know, you get used to it. All right, let's see. A little eyelid in there. This is tough because I'm like, I got to move the mic for 1 second. Yeah, flatten that a little bit too much, but that's okay. Okay. Getting there. Cedric Barbarian, what's going on? Good for the soul. I agree. Okay. Like I said, I flattened that a little too much. So I don't know. I'm just playing with this. I mean, maybe it might be even interesting instead of carving in, we could kind of make this bulge out like the cornea. Let's see if we can kind of get it to hit a little shadow. Sculpt kind of a little mound. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you. Who needs friends when you have the sculptures? These things are too needy, man. They're too needy for me. Lyrics Ghost, awesome. That's what I like to hear. I just want it to look crazy. Like, if you saw this thing in real life and you had to fight him, you'd be like, oh shit. Where's Goku? Wet clothes on the clay to keep it wet hydrated. Nice. Yeah, that's the, you got to be careful because it can grow fungus, definitely. I mean, that happens a lot quicker in the summertime, especially if you when I wrap this thing up, it's just a little plastic tarp that I put over it. You could do like a trash bag or whatever else, but if you leave it for a little too long, it'll wind up getting moldy. You could spray it down with bleach. Sometimes that will affect the color a little bit or the surface even. But it's like these things, it's funny because they're just kind of like throwaway sculptures. So I don't worry about molding them and stuff. And like wet clay is one of the cheapest clays that you can buy. And it's just so much fun to play with that it's like, it's a trade-off, and if there's something you really want to keep, you should just mold it quickly. I do have some sculpts around, and I don't know if you can see, I think Kratos is back over there. I didn't have the heart to throw him away. But I've got a couple other sculpts that are laying around that he didn't make it quite so well. But I do have a couple. I have that Mr. Miyagi sculpt that actually, he made it pretty well. I could probably still mold him, and he's long dried out. I think I want to get this grin a little higher too, like I said. Kind of push that up more. Let's see. Almost like the Joker, even. There's actually a bust sculpted by one of my friends, Andy Bergholtz, who I haven't talked to in a little while, but he's out in California. And he sculpted, there's like a Joker bust for Sideshow that like, the thing is awesome. And every time I think about sculpting like nasolabial folds or like a grin or anything, I always try to take a look at that bust because it's just like, it's so good. I've seen it emulated in so many other sculptures, like other sculptors trying to do it. Lots of people, use it in like pumpkins, and I've seen it on digital stuff. And I mean, if you're familiar with Andy's work, that guy's a friggin' beast anyway. So it's pretty much everything he does is good. But yeah, I love that. I should get that. I should get that bust. Ginger Ninja, thank you very much, and welcome in. Yeah, but I apologize, but I'm hoping your name is Balazes? Balazes? Actually, that's actually true. Like, it will grow real mushrooms. Like, not just like spotted brown mold stuff. Like, I've seen actual mushrooms growing out of these things if you leave them for too long. Pretty nasty. Actually, it's probably a really good idea for a Last of Us sculpt if you could kind of control it somehow. Really looking forward to that show coming back on too. Give that a little. A character that you'd love to be commissioned to sculpt. Oh man, I got a list freaking mile long. There's a lot of random stuff that people would be like, really? That's really odd. But I'd have to say number one, which I'm surprised I haven't done it yet, but it just winds up like I don't think anybody else would care. And it's not like I'm only sculpting. It's like there has to be a line, you know, when you're doing this on YouTube and stuff. Like, it kind of has to be worth my time to do something too. Like, otherwise, if there's no return on it, you know, then, you know, but I don't think anybody would care. But I would love to do anything related to Sho Kosugi, who, like, if you guys don't know, that's basically the reason that ninjas were popular in the 80s. And specifically, there's a movie called Ninja 3: The Domination, and it's funny because I love his character in the movie, but there's the evil ninja. I would love to sculpt that. And I'm probably going to one day, to be honest. Just because I'd like to have a statue of it myself. But any Sho Kosugi character. There's a lot of Sega characters that I would love to sculpt. Lots of old school Sega characters like Alex Kidd. Opa Opa, the little ship that flies around. Anything from Zillion. In Japan, it's called Akai Kudan. Lots of anime characters. As far as like real people, I mean, again, Sho Kosugi for like a real portrait. I don't know. I'd love to do some stuff from the Yakuza series. Probably some stuff from like Cowboy Bebop. I don't know, man. There's like too many to list. More Dragon Ball characters. I'd love to do like Roshi or Hercule, Mr. Satan, whatever. Yeah, just like too many characters to list. And there's stuff coming out too that I'd like to get into. Yeah, Kiryu or Majima for sure. Oh my god. I already have like a Kiryu video like planned in my head. Like the pose, everything. I'm just waiting for an opportunity to kind of to do it. Maybe soon. Maybe I'll do like a little let's play, because I would love to play those games. And then we can kind of pick which version, you know, because there's a little different in like Yakuza 0, and then like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's that new pirate one too coming out, or if it's, I don't know if it's already out or if it's coming out. Let's get this to be almost a little more hollow. Work on these lines. Really want to push this up, so we're going to add a little more there. No, this song might get me flagged, but whatever. It's coming out soon. Okay, so it's not out yet. I mean, that might be a good tie-in, kind of let's play, and then sculpt something cool from that. Although from what I've seen, that was mostly Majima in that, right? I don't know if I saw much of Kiryu in the trailers, but he could be in that game. Okay. Hell, there's even more stuff from Fallout I'd like to sculpt. No Kiryu. Metal Sonic would be cool. Actually, I would really like to do Robotnik. Or Dr. Eggman. I don't know if they like change his name. I always knew him as Robotnik. Even though I know I get a lot of requests for like Doom. Both playing it and sculpting it. But the Doom characters are definitely a little more involved. But I'm open to it. I'd love to do God, any of the characters from Doom. Even like Doom Guy himself. Let's kind of get this form here. Let's take a look. Street Fighter characters. Street Fighter is one of the reasons I got into sculpting, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, Ghost in the Shell. You have a bad guy, super smart, basically fights you with wit. Chun-Li. Inara Sarah. Ivan's, that's another thing, like Mad Balls. It's like, there's too much. There's not too much, it's just like, it's overwhelming. I mean, if I get the time, I'll at least do sketches of some of that stuff, you know? I don't know if I'll be able to go full on. But I've been enjoying just, you know, doing this kind of loosey-goosey work lately. Especially with this clay. It's just so much fun. Lots of stuff from the 80s I'd like to do. Even over in the corner, I got a My Pet Monster. I'd like to do him. There's another guy, I think his name is John Pinkerton. He did like an updated, really cool updated My Pet Monster. Nice guy too. Let's see. Keep your part away from the Chun-Li sculpt. Or what's her face? My Shiranui from Fatal Fury. A little more risque. Let's kind of get this. Let's just see. This is bugging me. Also, sorry if you guys can like hear me breathing into the mic. Still kind of learning. This should be like an eyelid, a little bit. It's fine. Awesome. Thank you. Gremlins. Yeah, lots of like 80s stuff. I'd like to do some I'd like to do like the Street Sharks, Battletoads, Even some Ninja Turtle stuff. I did some Ninja Turtle stuff like a long time ago for NECA. Just some like bobbleheads and stuff. That was fun. I'd like to do like Usagi Yojimbo, the little samurai rabbit. Always loved him. Super Shredder from the movie would be cool. I mean, Shredder's cool in general, but I always love that Super Shredder. We don't want to learn. Wait a minute. We don't want to learn. Sorry, I'm spacing out. Just thinking. Come on. Figure out what we want to do with these eyes. Could kind of extend this. Figure out these lids. Slash, like Slash from Ninja Turtles. You're talking about not Guns N' Roses Slash. Oh, Mr. Gradito Gamer. Yeah, that's another God, like childhood hero was like the Ultimate Warrior. I'd love to do Ultimate Warrior. Even like wrestlers who I wasn't like super into. Like I always thought Hulk Hogan would be just a fun character to sculpt. I don't know what you guys' views on him or whatever, any of that stuff. I don't, I'm not into that. His political choices and stuff that he said and done, but, if we're talking 80s Hulk Hogan when he was like the hero of America, that would be cool. But a lot of those guys would just be fun characters to sculpt because their, features are so prominent. But yeah, Ultimate Warrior. Love that dude. Again, the wrestler. I don't know, his views. He had some questionable opinions and whatnot, but I don't know. Everybody's just human. Kind of going somewhere with this. I don't know. Why does this thing keep... Let's fix this a little. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, he's like... I think the thing is, Hogan was so... He's just so big for so long. And as far as like a wrestler, I don't know. But, when you're a kid, those guys were like real life superheroes, basically, There's so many cool characters. Like I used to love WWF back, well, when it was WWF. Once they changed to WWE, I kind of pieced out. But, all the old like Demolition, the Rockers, like the original Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, like that era of wrestling was sick. Yeah, Ultimate Warrior. I don't know, man. He just like, I think a lot of it too is just like, some people they got to realize, yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage. They got to, they're just like a product of their time, I guess. It's like, I don't know. Things were just different back then. It's not necessarily good, but hopefully we all learned something. Born to be rad. Nice. It's still real. What's going on, man? Good to see you in here. It's my buddy Garrett from way back in the day. Oh shit, I don't want to dox you. I don't know if I should use your real name. Yeah, we used to like ride BMX together. And he was actually into wrestling too, as far as I know. Backyard wrestling type stuff. Filming himself. Lighting tables on fire and shit before YouTube. Fiance used to be really into WWE. I mean, for me, it's the same as going to a concert with a spectacle. Yeah. Yeah, like going to see it live. I think I went to see WWF live, like, I want to say, like, only twice. I saw some tapings and, like, back in the day in, like, Providence, Rhode Island, probably, like, 1989, 1988, maybe. Way back. But yeah, seeing it live is pretty cool. Regrettably, I never met the Ultimate Warrior. I did for this past birthday that I went to. This past birthday I went to Clearwater, Florida, and I went over to Hogan's Hangout, which is like Hulk Hogan's restaurant, and I was just hoping he was going to be there, but he wasn't there. I was going to like drive by his house like a creep, but Lindsay got scared because they had like cameras and stuff. It was like a gated community. She's like, I'm not going in there. We're going to get arrested. I was like, I don't think we're going to get arrested just by driving by, but I don't want to put her through that kind of stress. So feeling old right now? Yeah, same. All right, let's see. I want to push this back, actually. I think these wrinkles are bugging me. We're on like the Third Strike soundtrack now. Try to randomize this. And get these cheekbones out a little more. And we could probably carve... Where's my small loop? Probably carve this away. I want to flatten this out. I don't want to bring this out too much. Keep that muzzly look. Bret Hart, for sure, would be cool. Thanks, Lyrics Ghost. Yeah, it's getting there, kind of. You could do like a lot of dumb stuff. Like this is like having faith in the process. Like I do a lot of this too, like, you know, randomly putting stuff in. But like I feel like once you just get these like these couple little things in here and there. Sorry if I get in front of the camera, but let me get these going. You know, we can kind of build that up too and make it look a little more organic instead of just like a perfectly round hole. Almost like probably look at like a whale. Like a whale's like blowhole for like reference or something. Just make it look a little more organic and not so perfectly. But even like such a small thing, you know, like see, like such a small thing like that can make such a big difference. Like even, I don't know if you'll see this on camera, but you know, you get like down here. So you got to remember, like, you're going to be putting in these little details, you know. But there's lots of like organic forms and textures and stuff to play with. Even inside the ears, you know. Let's get kind of throw this together real quick. Like, as far as I know, yeah, he's got these kind of. It's just like a hole. It's like the easiest ear I've ever sculpted. And we can get fun with that. Make it all wrinkly. I do think I want to push the bone structure a little bit further. Probably grab my little skull over there in a second, get some reference. Let's dig this out. Make that look a little funky for a second. The Midnight Run. I know, man. Need a Midnight Run playlist. Going deep in the retro wave. Nice. Yeah. Outrun. Now you're speaking my language, Ivans. Yeah, I know. I gotta bring the Midnight Runs back. For those of you guys that don't know, that's just like a thing I do on my Patreon. Or I haven't actually done it in a few years, but it was a little thing I used to do, and just kind of what I'm listening to, what I'm playing. You know, I'd show a tool, talk about some of the tools that I use. Yeah. I do have fun with those. That was, you know what? The funny thing was, like, I used to write those. I used to do those all the time when I was at the laundromat and I was like doing laundry. So it was the perfect time. So I'd bring my Switch and just like a notepad and write stuff down. And then I got a washer and dryer and I stopped doing them. So I got to just like do that again. I know I'm horrible. I took a bunch of pictures and photos and stuff from the complete sculptor that I'm going to put up on Patreon. I'll show you guys, put them in the Discord or whatever. Just some cool stuff, like, you know, mostly like tool pictures and stuff mostly only sculptors would be interested in. Just like something like that. Yeah, kind of. See, he doesn't have a crazy profile. I do think I do want to bring this profile out just a little more though, but we're going to do it carefully because I don't want him to have like a weird fish mouth. Like, I'm trying to avoid that, even though he does almost kind of look like a fish to me. Actually, let's do this. Having a negative self-fulfilling prophecy doesn't help your chances. Andrew Joseph Keith, really fun sculpt, and I love the lighting studio. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Lighting is good. The lighting is like, it's, yeah, not bad. It's just like one of these I forget what these are like drafting lamps or something, but it's got like a really nice, it's got like a ring light, and then it's got a spot for like a, I would say incandescent, but they don't even sell incandescent bulbs anymore. But it's like daylight balance, so it provides it's like pretty good color. But I like it. I have this other one over here too, which you guys, it's like out of frame, but it's not that great. It's just LEDs. This is like a magnifying glass, so I never use, but it's okay. It's from a company called Bright Tech. And it has like, this is like, you know, to use like a white balance too. You got like a Kelvin selection here or whatever they call it. But I just kind of use it for like to fill in the shadows. That's Boo's signature grin. Awesome. That's what I like to hear. All right. So yeah, I don't want to. Just be careful with this area. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm just playing with this. I don't really know too much where I'm going with it. I'm just kind of having fun. I thought Buu would be a fun character to kind of do a little more realistic. Actually going to fill that in a little. Yeah, Creature from the Black Lagoon. It is almost like that, right? Like, I know, like Gillman. We'll see what we can do about that. It's probably these, like, luscious lips here. Streets of Rage. More characters I'd like to sculpt. Actually, the funny thing is, like, they're probably, like, 30 years too late, but The other day I was in Walmart like during Christmas time, which is unfortunate in itself. But I saw that company Jakks Pacific was making some Sega themed figures, and they had a Streets of Rage figure. They had a figure of Axel, and I'm like, it was like Axel, and then they had Altered Beast. I'm like, this is the most random. Like, this is not for children. This is for people my age. Like, I don't know too many like 12, 13-year-old kids playing Streets of Rage 2 nonetheless. Actually, yeah, Streets of Rage 2, because they had Axel and the kangaroo guy too, of all the other like random characters. But I would love to sculpt some of them. Okay. We're getting there with this. I don't know. I still can't decide. I can't decide if I want irises, pupils. I don't know. Maybe just dots. Like maybe just the pupil. Oh, that looks a little crazy. Be careful not to make them cross-eyed. Oh, I kind of like that, actually. And if we bring this up. I'm going to push that up a little further. Something like that. Chris Aguilar. I'm a big fan of those too. They're so much fun to make, but mostly just I like making like the proper handles for them too now. I got a lathe not too long ago because I was going to start making some tools and just kind of selling them, having like handmade stuff. There was actually a company I was talking to that was going to do some prototypes, but that didn't pan out. So I do make them from time to time. But yeah, the guitar strings really kick ass for it's okay for wet clay. I would say it's not really necessary because this clay is just like, you could just brush it with a soft brush, kind of get the same result. But for oil-based clay, it's really good. Yeah, basic and kind of complex at the same time. How does it feel? No, I'm going to erase it. That's nothing. I'll get it done quick. Easy peasy. Push this back. Yeah, I miss Toys R Us too, man. Skelecat, what's going on? Good to see you. It's kind of like this. Now the thing is, I don't want this to connect. Okay, so yeah, I'll keep this kind of round, muzzly. Yeah, punch out sculpts. Yeah, time definitely does fly. For sure. Especially when you have a deadline. It's the worst. It's like, I feel like I've lost years just like paying so close attention to deadlines and stuff. But it's all fun. For the most part. I don't know if I like that hard line there. let's kind of dig this out a little bit. All right. Maybe break this up. Kind of break that up. Yeah, I don't mind having to do this over again. This is a fun sculpt. But it's fun just to see where this thing's gonna go, because I'm just like, I want to do like a realistic Majin Buu, and I didn't really have a super clear idea of what I wanted in my head. So I don't normally do this, like just kind of playing around with stuff. Usually, like when I set up to do a sculpt, it's like it's gonna be this specific thing. I know a lot more about it, but to just be able to sit and play and have like a truly personal like project, it's fun. Forget how fun this could be, just messing around. But once I figure this out, redoing this I'll have it done a lot faster. I mean, I've only been at this for like a couple hours something. In sculptor's time, that's nothing. How I got into sculpting Skelecat was let's see. I've always been into comics and collecting stuff, toys, video games, pop art, stuff like that since I was a kid. I used to go to comic conventions a lot with my dad and my brother. I don't know. I've always loved like video games, and even specifically Street Fighter was one of the games that I sort of fell in love with, and I was kind of frustrated that I couldn't find a good figure of like Ryu or Sagat or any of the characters that I'm like, man, everybody that's releasing figures of these, they kind of suck. They don't look like the game or whatever. And one day I was on the internet. I mean, I should preface by saying I've always been into like art, drawing and stuff like that. I've messed with like clay and Play-Doh and things like that, but never knew like the extent that you could actually take it. And I saw this picture there was a bust of Shin Akuma. I think this is like 2005, 2004, something like that. Which sounds like it was just yesterday, but 20 years ago. And I saw a picture of it, and it was just a prototype that someone had sculpted by hand. And I never seen anything. I was like, holy crap, someone actually made that. Because I had always thought that like, figures and stuff were made, by machine, which is funny because, most of them are these days. And then just kind of once I saw that, I was like, wow, I did a little bit of research, and I was able to find that the material was Castelline that it was sculpted in, which is like a clay wax hybrid, still used in the collectible industry today. Really popular among toy artists and things. I mean, I didn't get any Castelline because I was like young and broke at the time, but my girlfriend did work at Michael's craft store, arts and crafts. And so I was like, the next closest thing, I'm like, it's got to be just like Sculpey, right? Like that polymer clay stuff, right? So I had her bring home a box of Super Sculpey and like one of those crappy little tool sets that they sold. And like one of the very first things I ever made was a bust of Sagat from Street Fighter. And like, look at it now, I'd be like, oh God, this thing's awful. I still have it. It's in the other room. I mentioned it the other day, actually, when I was streaming. And I thought it looked cool at the time, and it was cool enough to be like, oh, this was fun. I, do it again. So I did another Street Fighter character. I did a little chibi version of Akuma. And then I did, trying to think, there were a few things that I sculpted. And then I wound up finding a forum dedicated to this stuff, which was the statue forum. There's a statue forum, and there was the Shiflett brothers, which they're still around too, and I think they still use polymer clay as far as I know. I could be wrong. And so after that, I was hooked because there were like actual working professionals up there that were kind of posting, you know, nobody was posting anything that was like crazy tutorials or anything like that, but like you could kind of glean, you know, like, oh, I use this tool, or I use this clay, or, you know, molding materials, or, you know, just some stuff here and there. Like it seemed like a treasure trove at the time, but it's not like, if you compare it to something like YouTube, where you have like everybody's doing stuff up there and you get to see it and it's all filmed in 4K. It's like, damn, I wish I had that. You know, it would have saved me a lot of time. But yeah, I got into it, and it was like, I think within like the third or fourth sculpt, I posted some stuff online, and then this guy approached me, and he had a small, you know, he was just molding stuff and had like a little, what they call a garage kit company. And he's just making, you know, commissioning artists to do like unlicensed sculpts like Wolverine and Spider-Man and, you know, stuff like that, stuff that people wanted to see that like companies weren't making yet. And I did a bunch of sculpts for him, and it was enough to start paying like what little bills I had at the time and stuff. And I just kept going, never looked back. And then eventually what happened was I found out there was this comic book convention in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I think it was Wizard World, and there was a bunch of toy companies that were just doing portfolio reviews. So I put pictures of my best work together in like a portfolio, and I went there. I almost didn't go too, but Lindsay convinced me to go. She's like, no. I'm like, then I want to see some scrub, you know, crappy work. I'm like trying to whatever, but I got a call back. I got a few calls back, and that was enough to get my foot in the door. And then it was like, from then on, I just, everything I did, I just tried to progress and learn as much as I could. And just, I was obsessed with sculpting. It was like, life was just, it was like sculpting, video games, and that was like it. I stopped. I used to ride BMX like professionally. I was doing like NBA halftime shows and stuff like that. I was part of a couple teams that traveled around. And you know, we'd do like fairs and stuff, company events, celebrity events, stuff like that. You know, it was pretty cool. But I remember this one time I was like, I was at this, it was a balloon festival somewhere in Massachusetts, I think. And it was like, God, it was like 7:30 in the morning, and it was pouring rain. And we just set these ramps up because they always had these contracts where, like, you know, you had to set the ramps up. You had to like show the effort that you're there, and you show up in order for us to get paid and stuff like that. And I just remember these kids, like, they made us go on and perform, which was like basically unsafe conditions. And there were these little kids in the front row just screaming at the top of their lungs, like, do a backflip. And they're just like, just being little kids, you know, kids are kids, whatever. But, you know, and I'm just like, damn, I felt like a circus monkey. I'm just like, I think I'm done with this. I think that's it. And then that was it. That's all it took for me to kind of give that up. So then I did a little bit of BMX in my free time, but I was just obsessed with sculpting. And that was it. I got a job at a video game store, which was like super laid back, easy work. I had been laid off. I should mention I had been laid off. I got it was like a seasonal position at General Motors, and I was like a parts picker in the factory. And that was another fucking awful job. It was like I was working in a windowless factory. It was like, you know, constantly 80, 90 degrees. It was only for the summer, of course. They let you go in the winter time. So you'd sweat your ass off. I'd go in when it was dark, and I'd come out when it was dark. So I just like didn't see the sun. And it was just full of these old people who all they wanted to do was just make sure you stayed and got overtime. And I was like, it was already a minimum 10-hour workday, and these people were trying to get more. So like, I'm just this young, spry kid who just came off, I was like in shape, like riding BMX all the time. Like, hell with this, I want to get out of here early tonight. So, I'd be running around and honestly, almost single-handedly getting the whole team out of there like early because of how fast I was doing the job. And then I just had these like old people that was not good. They were pissed, and they were part of a union. So, they had final say and all this stuff, but they'd constantly start messing with me, and they were like trying to get me in trouble all the time and keeping like paper trails and saying I was doing stuff that was like unsafe, which like it wasn't. Although there was time I can attribute an injury to them, which I had, where like I messed up my shoulder and my neck so bad that I couldn't hold the weight of my neck, couldn't hold the weight of my head. Like I had to like hold it up with my hands until I got a brace, because it was a really weird thing. But I got it because I was reaching into these like lower shelf pallet things and pulling out car rotors. So I was doing like, it was like almost like a deltoid raise for every car rotor. So you'd have like you'd have to pick an order, of like, 10 or 20 car rotors that are just like ridiculous, these 30-pound things. And like, I wrecked my shoulder doing that. And so, like I said, they were messing with me, and I was like, all right, well, I'm good with this place. So, I got laid off anyway, and I was like, I'm not going back there. And that in between that time, I was getting some like unemployment, looking for a job and stuff. And that's when I found sculpting. And then I was like, okay, well, I'll keep up with this while I'm in my job search. And then I wound up getting lucky. I found this video game store. I was like, holy crap, this is an awesome job. I can get into it. I can talk to people. I can learn about things. I can like, I used to bring like sculpting books, and I'd read them at work and stuff, and whatever I could. Same thing, like just learning about it. And even wound up making some friends that were in the industry over there. I became a manager, and there was like a trade convention or whatever the hell it was, and like that was a funny thing because it was this big like trade show thing, and they had the music stopped. Hang on a second. Yeah, that was a funny thing because they had like, what's his face? Mark McGrath was there, Sugar Ray. They had Travis from Blink-182, the drummer. And that was actually like a couple of weeks before he got into that plane crash. He like survived a plane crash. There was like a bunch of celebrities and stuff, but I met some people from Capcom that were super cool. And it was like right around the time that Street Fighter 4 was coming out. And I had some like sculpts that I put in the store. I put in like the display shelves and stuff. Like when I was a manager, they kind of let you kind of like put your own flavor in the store for a little bit before they closed and stuff, because they wound up cracking down on that stuff. But I used to like decorate the store with like perler bead things and like, clay sculpts and stuff. And I'd have like, my own video game stuff that I would bring in. And that was a fun time, but it allowed me to, not get burned out with work and just have fun and keep sculpting. And then eventually, when I went to that convention, I got offered my first commercial work, and I was like, okay. So I stepped down as manager and never looked back. So that's my origin story. I don't know. What do we think? Let's get a little bit more there. Probably start rolling this clay up a little bit. Vibe was getting rough. Yeah, I have it on randomize. I don't know why it stopped. That was weird. They're like, you know what? We're just going to randomly stop. Wizard Magazine by Randy Bowen showing his process sculpting. Yeah, see? Wizard Magazine. That's funny because I went to Wizard World, which I think it was like the same thing. Like that was just the convention. That was cool. I don't know if they still do Wizard World. It was like Comic-Con's rival or whatever. Or not rival, but, you know, competition or whatever. Like Comic-Con. All right, so let's see. I don't know if those eyes are a little too far out. Them teeth in. Necro. Yeah, love Third Strike. Yeah, it was good times. Good times. I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I just like fell into sculpting. The one thing I would say that it would have been awesome, I never got a job as an in-house sculptor, which would have been really awesome, because then it's like, you know, then you get like a contract and you're, you know, you feel like you're like well taken care of. Like, I'll be honest, like sometimes it's pretty rough as a freelance sculptor, you know, especially it started getting rough, you know, once digital stuff started taking over. Yeah, I always did okay. But man, that was just like not a real promising job to get into, I guess. But like these days, the opportunity is, it's like you just make your own way. It's like you have, because of social media, like as much as we all crap on social media, yeah, social media sucks. And these people that come up with these algorithms, they seem, you know, like the devil. But yeah, I mean, think about the possibilities, like what you can do that you couldn't do before, you know. It's like you can make a living playing Beatles covers on the friggin' accordion if you want, you know, if you're truly passionate about it and you give it your all. I'm sure you could make it happen. Yeah, I agree. Equal amount of bad stuff is good stuff. Lindsay LaRose. For anybody that doesn't know, that's my IRL wifey. Ride or die. I should probably make her a mod. She's going to have to earn it. DK's new design. I love Donkey Kong. I love almost all iterations of Donkey Kong, even like the real funky looking that weird cartoon, that like CG cartoon from back in the day. I can't get enough of that character. I do. I'm hoping. I heard that they were supposed to make a Donkey Kong movie, like the Mario movie, like a spin-off. I got my fingers crossed for that, because I would love to see that. Although I'd be okay if they like didn't use any like commercial music, you know. I don't know. Something like this. Probably give this guy some teeth. Just like real quick indications here. I don't know if we want to make these like regular teeth or if we want to make them pointed or... Hypertensive, welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, for everybody that doesn't know, it was Lindsay's birthday this past weekend. So we went to New York to visit. And what does she do on her birthday? She's like, you should go to the Complete Sculptor. Or I should say Complete Sculptor. Sorry. It's my French friend, Phil would say. My French-Portuguese friend. Selling stuff on Instagram. Yeah, I mean, there's a few reasons I don't do that. Most of it is just because, like, you know, it's an easy way to piss off companies for one thing, and a lot of these companies I work for, you know, but I know, like, Nintendo stuff, like, don't even bother trying to do that. They're like Disney, they will shut you down. And then it's just, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been doing like these larger pieces, and it would be expensive to mold them all and cast them and kind of, I don't know, get into all that. It just seems like, I don't know, it could be worth it, but I just like sculpting them. I don't want to do anything else. I'm just going to throw this thing away when it's done. Or reuse the clay or something. Something. I feel like there's too much. We need to like break this up over here. Um, 3D printing is awesome. It's fine. I mean, I like both. I think it's if you see some of the stuff people can 3D print, it's amazing. You know, it's like stuff you probably couldn't sculpt by hand. So it's just like, you know, it's another tool. But yeah, I mean, I prefer hand sculpted stuff myself personally. And honestly, these days, like more like looser like handmade stuff. Yeah, I can't wait I'm gonna change the pose on this guy too. He's definitely looking a little stiff. Hypertensive, her birthday was awesome. It was actually a ton of fun. We went to a bunch of places. I'll have you know, I was recognized twice, which was pretty cool. I felt like a bit of a rock star. So that was fun. Gravity Falls I have not seen yet. Balaz, I haven't quite decided. I mean, I don't know if I'm just going to leave it up or if I'm going to go unlisted with it because, well, for one thing, I have the last couple streams, I lost like, I want to say like 1,500 subs or something like that. I don't know if people were just not into me streaming, but that's just too bad, isn't it? So I may wind up unlisting it, but I'll have it available in some capacity. Even if I put it up as like a playlist, I'll probably put it on my Patreon, which is like I'll have it so like it's free to sign up, but it's just a place that you'll be able to see the playlist. You know what I mean? So if you sign up to the Patreon, you could see it for free. Like it won't be like a paid only thing. At least not for the moment. I don't think I'm gonna do that. So you should be able to see it in some capacity. Cause yeah, I would like to have them archived, and I know people watch from all over the world, and it sucks when they can't be here, and And if there's doubt, just try to either message me or just like, I'll let you know wherever I kind of decide to post it, what I decide to do with it. I don't know. Yeah, Mr. Gordito game. I don't know what it was either. It was. I could tell you that, like, you know, I try not to pay too much attention to it because, you know, mental health and all that. But it was disheartening, to say the least. I'm not gonna lie and be like, that doesn't bother me at all. It's like, oh, that kind of sucks. But I'm also not gonna let it stop me, you know, because this is fun, and it's something that I like to do. It's like, for me, I'm having fun talking to you guys. Like, you know, I've been up on YouTube for, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 something years or something like that, and I'm like, this is a fun way to interact with people, do stuff live and chat. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? And God forbid I play a video game, you know. But I mean, after that last stream, I understand why they unfollowed, because that was friggin' awful. I debated taking that down just because it's embarrassing, but it's like, whatever. We'll leave it up. We'll get him next time. And possibly tonight. Actually, what time is it? Oh, 5:48. Go for a little while longer. You know, let's figure this out here. What we want to do. Oh yeah, got a little craziness up here. Lost Maru Alex, thank you so much. Pleasure to have you here. Tom T, my thoughts at Castelline is incredible. I actually have a bunch of Castelline. I wanted to do some stuff in Castelline on YouTube, but I used only Castelline for many years when I was doing a lot of like toy work, and it's a phenomenal material. There's kind of a balance that I try to achieve, depending on the size of a sculpt, is if I'll use Castelline or wax. So if something's going to be a little bit on the smaller side, I'll usually go towards wax. But if it's going to be a little larger, like something over like quarter scale, then I usually reach for the Castelline. Most commercial projects I've either done in wax or Castelline, and it's highly recommended. If you can sculpt in Castelline, you can pretty much sculpt in almost anything, I think. It's, you know, there's some nuances to it, but you really learn a lot about the temperature, and it's a very intentional material that you have to learn how to control. So like, you're not going to have any weird happy accidents. Like you could wind up with some happy accidents with wed clay just by kind of smushing stuff together and being like, oh crap, you know, like I see a shape in the clouds, like on the sculpt, you know, that'll lead to something else. But yeah, you don't get that with Castelline, but it's awesome, and it can be polished and, you know, really cleaned up well. Chris Aguilar, I've been really enjoying just going through some, like, on Steam, there's like the indie horror games, or like indie survival horror, whatever. Just for like the story-based stuff. I mean, there's a ton of games. I haven't played Astrobot. I just got Ninja 5.0, which is like a Game Boy Advance game, but I got it from Limited Run Games. I got that in the mail the other day, but I got it on PS5. I still want to get through Silent Hill 2. There's Yakuza Infinite Wealth. I wanted to play that. Just a bunch of stuff. But for streaming stuff, I really like the indie horror stuff, because it's kind of like, it lends itself well to streaming, you know, and it's a cool story-based type of thing where, you know, it's really atmospheric and just fun and cozy. And I you know, I'm just enjoying seeing what these like indie developers do. Cause you know, they're making a lot of kick-ass stuff. So let me take a look here. Tom T, yeah, I love Castelline. I used to add I used to put some like additives, beeswax and stuff into it too. And and mix it up, make it a little more firmer or softer too. Chavant is also a lot of fun. The Stanley Paradox, I think that's a free game on PS Plus this month, right? I think I just got that. Raphael Sculpt Addict, thank you very much, man. Pleasure to have you in here. Castelline hard. I only really use hard grade Castelline. I don't really mess with the medium. They used to have soft too. I don't know if they still have it. Crow Country, Tom T. Yeah, that's on my list. It's like a like an old PlayStation. Like almost like a Resident Evil, like a chibi Resident Evil. I saw that. That's on my list. Lost Mover Alex. We'll see you soon. Sorry to see you go. But thanks for stopping in. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I want to push this a little further. I keep going back and forth with this. Kind of get the shape of this mouth. Yeah, widen this a bit. Let's get some of these muscles under here sculpted. Widen that up a little bit. Tom T, I don't really have a schedule yet. I'm trying to find like the best times. And honestly, that's kind of a long story too, but I'll keep it short. I tried like hell to get on here last night, and for some reason I'm just running into problems. So if anybody has any suggestions too, like I don't know if NVIDIA it's like a thing with NVIDIA interfering with OBS or something, but like I could not get my cameras work, either of my cameras or my microphone. So I was like switching cables and the USB hub. I have like a hub that's got like 7 USB things because I'm just using my laptop for this. And I don't know why it wouldn't start. So I was trying till midnight last night, and I was like, okay, it's too late. And I finally got it working like right at midnight. So then I said, okay, I'll just stream tomorrow. But as far as the schedule, I'm just trying to get up here at some point during like Friday, Saturday, during the weekend. And all I could say really is just kind of watch my community tab, and I'll do my best to kind of post when I'm going to be on. But I'm still working out a schedule and just trying to see the flow of things. Like even this right here, like I have to redo this whole thing because I'm making a video of this. So I gotta redo this and just kind of see how that works with scheduling and stuff. But I want to do, maybe I'll do like a separate project for streams and just kind of have 2 going at once or something like that. If you guys don't mind me streaming a few streams to finish a project instead of just getting it all done at once, I could probably do that. But in some capacity, I would like to try to be up here at least once a week, maybe twice a week. And again, doing some more like Let's Play streams or with like video games and stuff where we could, I don't mind chatting about sculpting or whatever else on those either. But just to kind of catch me. So just kind of watch this spot, check my community tab, and stay tuned. Yeah, NSP hard. That's my favorite. I mean, the soft and the medium is cool too, depending what you're doing. Let's kind of get a little bit more of a jawline here. think we want to widen this a little bit. So I was trying to be careful of. I guess those could kind of be like nostrils or something. Enable the super thanks option. Yeah, I got to do some work on this, man. I don't even know like half the features. I know that I have ads turned on for this stream for a couple reasons. For one thing, I just wanted to see how it worked. So hopefully you guys aren't getting like bombarded with them. But for another thing, it literally hounds you to put ads on every single time. So I wanted to start streaming. I just hit the button. I was like, okay, we'll just leave the ads on, and if it works, cool. See if it's worth having them on. It's not like I have a billion people in here, so I can't imagine I'm making a ton of money off ads. But we'll see if it's worth it. I'll leave them on for like the VODs or whatever, like normal. But if you guys are getting too bothered by it, just let me know. It's not a huge deal to turn them off or whatever. Let's connect. I'll break this up somehow. Also, sorry, I keep clearing my throat into the microphone. It's really dry up here. Love how he's turning out. Thank you very much. I'm getting there. I'm still trying to figure things out here. I know that it's not like the most ultra realistic thing, but we'll get there. Definitely want to work on this grin a little bit. That like crazy smile. He's so happy to fight. Yeah, sorry about that. Drink my Play-Doh. Box art, hard NSP. Yeah, I mean it definitely, I could see that. I think I'm used to working with materials that are even more hard, like wax and stuff like that. Like I came off of doing a lot of work with wax and Castelline, which is even more harder than Chavant. So even like, it's funny because even Chavant like hard is still a little soft for me. And this stuff is like chewing gum, which is awesome. But yeah, I do like the medium and the soft. The soft is really, really sticky, like almost a little. I like when the clay is tacky, sticky, but take it easy, Lyrics Ghost. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, definitely check the video out when it's done too. But yeah, Chavant, I mean, it's good. It just depends on the application, really, I guess. It's more like, the size, complexity of the project. If you got a lot of organic materials versus inorganic, mechanical, whatever, if the thing's going to be loose or... I don't know if we like this. The link bust. Wife's a huge fan. So you showed her a video. Oh, the link bust is sitting above my. I should mold that. That's one that I should mold. I know it's stupid, but it as crazy as it sounds, I don't even like. I think that's okay. Like I don't even really like that sculpt that much, to be honest. It's like it's fine. I had no idea it was gonna like blow up like that. I would have spent a lot more time on it, but. He's just sitting above. I have like this shelf that I bought from IKEA, and it like goes over the TV, and he's just sitting. There's a bunch of sculpts actually. I got to get him down. Like I plan to. We redid the studio, the downstairs studio, and I plan to put like a big heavy duty shelf up and just put a bunch of sculpts up at the top that I wanted to keep, because I still have a bunch of the Chavant sculpts. I haven't melted them down, but they're all kind of sitting above the TV in my living room, which is hilarious. And that Link one, every once in a while his little sideburn falls off and I got to stick it back on, but I'm like, you know, one day this will probably make someone a lot of money. I mean, unfortunately it probably won't be me, because I'm sure the Nintendo ninjas would be right after me if I tried to sell one. But, yeah. Let's... a little break between here. Link's hanging in there, yeah. Clay for sketching, NSP or Castelline. Monster clay for sketching, NSP or Castelline for the proper piece. And then if it's in Castelline and comes out well, I just showed off a George specifically to rub his nose in it. George's a fan of the lean also. That's some good stuff. He had a pretty cool piece going in that before. A couple, if I remember right. Actually, there was that like Japanese, is it called like a yokai or something? It's like the umbrella demon. And then there was the other thing that he was having a hell of a time with, the hair. That looks kind of cool, I guess. This should be over though, so we can get that a little more wide. Kawasaka Nintendo ninjas. Yeah, then I don't want to piss them Nintendo ninjas off, man. All right. I'm going to just take a step back real quick, guys. That was the cord. That looks pretty cool. Okay. If you're just joining us, don't forget to hit that like button. Smash that like button. That looks kind of cool. I do like the grin. That's fun. TMNT Last Ronin. That they're supposed to be making a game of that. That looks pretty sick, or it's gonna be. On the live, that like button. I think PCS should hire you to do their Street Fighter line. Man, I have to say PCS, they've done some of my favorite Street Fighter statues. I have the first statue of Evil Ryu that they did way back in the day. I ordered it And I still have that. I do like that statue. It reminds me a lot of the Third Strike. But yeah, they're that seemed like a cool company. I never got to work with them. I did get some comments from Jerry Macaluso, I think his name is, like the owner of that company. I've had some comments on my work. It's cool to see. Yeah, I like that dude's work too. I love that he clearly loves Street Fighter like as much as I do also. Because they've done, as far as I know, they've done almost every character. Or definitely the important ones. There you go. Seem a little better. I should probably spray this down real quick. Okay. What are we thinking? Yeah, it's getting a little firm. See how easy? You just like, it just wants to be smooth. That's the thing about this stuff. Never done any work for McFarlane Toys. No, they like let go of most of their sculptors. Not long after I got into commercial sculpting. What would I call the holes? Like air intake. It seems like it's like exhaust. It's like exhaust. I don't know. That's where he has like pressure that builds up or something. And there's like smoke and stuff comes out of there. He gets real mad. I don't know if I like, I mean, this is okay, but what I'm going to do real quick is just kind of, let's just like rake this thing down real quick and get, just kind of like amalgamate. Love that word. Actually, let me move this mic again real quick. This looks like I'm just making a big mess of them, but I'm just kind of trying to level things off to see if I like where the wrinkles are and all that stuff. I'm just kind of, see, you tap it back into place, can kind of play with it a little bit. Now, do we want to do any kind of forehead wrinkles either? I don't know. See if you kind of like squint your eyes. I mean, it's a little different on camera, but in front, while it's in front of you, you squint your eyes, you can kind of read what it might look like with some texture, a little more finer detail, see if you like where things are. I'm not completely sold on this yet, so it may wind up looking a little different in the video. But I definitely like the grin. Still going to play with the eyes, I think, a little bit. Let's break this up a little. Usually a little break in here. Oh, Chris Aguilar, haven't even played SF6. Unfortunately. But usually I'm pretty basic. Just I love Ryu. All the Shotos, of course. There's like, that's what I started with, you know, way back in Street Fighter 2 and kind of stuck with him all the way. A little bit of Dalsim. Always liked Dudley. Third Strike and SF4. He was fun to play. Alright, just kind of... Yeah, for some, I haven't played. The last video game I played actually was just the stuff on the stream. I haven't really played many games outside of that. Before those past two streams, I hadn't played a game in like maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 months. It's been a while. So I got some catching up to do. Let's see. What do we want here? You know what? I wish I had... See, right now one of those little copper pipes would be perfect. But I don't have them. I have them in a drawer. That's a little outside the studio and down the hall, but I don't feel like I want to grab it, so we're just going to do it like this. I keep going back and forth with these irises. I don't know. That might be kind of cool. And honestly, even just thinking, the more I look at this thing, the more it kind of looks almost like a little one of those like Oni masks. I'm just curious if this is gonna not be great for Majin Buu, but we'll see. Urban Spook, awesome, man. Welcome in. Good to have you. Just started sculpting. Well, feel free to hit me up with any questions. That's how I feel when something's arm's length from me. Yeah, man. I'm just like, I don't have like an away screen. Is this too weird? I mean, I want you to be able to still tell it's Majin Buu, but I just kind of... Almost. Is that too much? You know, obviously. Better sculpted, but you get the idea. I don't know. Probably not. I do want to fix this up here. It's driving me crazy. Something like that. I don't know. Orochi-boo. Nah, I know. I don't think I'm feeling it either. I just like, I keep getting like, feels like an Oni mask. And that's it. Lindsay gets final say. See that kind of, and then maybe push another wrinkle down. Right now I'm trying to figure out how to go about mounting my next sculpture. I plan to put magnets in the base and the feet of the figure, but I need it stable in some way while sculpting. While sculpting, I mean, I usually, like while I'm sculpting, I put it on a stand like this. I mean, this is, you can see how this whole armature was made in the last stream, and then it's on this really wobbly, like a Lazy Susan thing. And this is just, I don't normally sculpt on this thing. This is just so I can stream with it easily. But magnets usually work pretty well to hold pieces on after the fact. Oh, a stand that would fit the project. There's another thing that I have. It's like, I don't use it for wed clay stuff because this thing's like super heavy. But it's basically made for welders. So it'll hold like car parts and stuff, or small car parts. To do some like welding, and you can like unlock it and then lock it so you can tilt the thing any which way, and that saved my neck quite a few times for like Shavant sculpts. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't really know too many sculpting stand tutorials. It's just kind of like everything is, it's always like sculptors are always just like, you know, per project, and a lot of the times the stuff kind of seems cobbled together because it's not like there's like a handbook for this or anything, you know. But let's try this kind of. Something-ish. Something like that. I don't think I like these teeth. A little weird. Yeah, he definitely looks more like Boo without the teeth. All right, Gordito, thanks for stopping in, man. Great to have you as always. Phil Shebang, thank you very much. Just kind of playing with this and figuring out a direction for it. Yeah, I definitely like the fangs inside. Just put those back in real quick. Yeah, that's cool. Super like hotspot. There we go. All right. And this is still just like fighting. See, I'm noodling with it too much. A little too precious. I'm gonna make some bigger statements here, I think. I don't know. Kind of the direction I'm headed in. Yeah, listen to Ivan's. That's what I would say too. As far as a stand, I mean, honestly, if I'm looking to make a specific stand for something, a lot of the times I'll just kind of go to the hardware store and piece things together. You know, a lot of you can get those like long axles, just cut those with a hacksaw, and then like lots of nuts and bolts and wood, and just kind of configure something. That's kind of sort of like I don't know if you're doing like a bust or like a figure, but usually the figures, they kind of have that like L shape, and you can get some wing nuts and washers and things to kind of make a little assembly that usually hooks into the back that you would either cut off or unscrew or whatever. And if you're using polymer clay, that way it'll stand upright in the oven or whatever, however you're going to bake it. You know what I think? I think we're going to push this back. Bury that a little deeper in there. Don't think I like this anymore. Get that back. Yeah. Yep, I think that was throwing me off. Yeah. The way I did the removable horns and the death claw. Yeah, you could. I mean, if you did, yeah, I've made those plugs, right? Those are just like epoxy plugs. I mean, you wouldn't need to, unless for some reason you wanted to make, like if you wanted to make those removable, sure, for whatever reason, like say if you want to swap them out or something. But for that in particular, you know, just the plugs would work. A Michael Myers mask behind me on the shelf over there. That's a Frankenstein. I don't know if you can see. Actually, here, hang on. I'll give you a full view. So just like a Frankenstein, a couple of cheap anatomy models. I got some bone clone skulls, but it's funny. I have a William Shatner life cast on this wall, which you can't see. I have a William Shatner and Anthony Hopkins, and actually, yeah, just those two. But I do have a life cast of those. It's funny you said that. Yeah, that Frankenstein was, I think it's from a company called Cineart. It was sculpted by Miles Tevis. This is another really kick-ass sculptor, the special effects industry. It was I think there's a date on it. It was sometime in the 90s that he sculpted that. I think it was like 90, 98, 99 or something on that. But it's made of vinyl. I love that. His nickname is Loops. I called him Loops for the longest time. Just because after Loop Tools. All right. I don't know. Do you guys like the direction this thing's headed? I definitely want to change the pose. I got to do that soon because it's starting to firm up a little bit, but no biggie. And that's basically kind of where we're headed. Still don't like... I don't know. There's something I gotta mess with over here or something. You get a little bit of this. Gonna get that eye in there a little more. Sick to have all the random sculptures. It's not. it's honestly, it's not great. I'm kind of overrun by them. I'm like, I look at those things and I'm like, I don't know. You know, what should I do with these things? Like some of them, I kept a lot of, like most of the YouTube stuff I have, but I'm like, you know, they just kind of sit and collect dust. Like I had a lot of fun sculpting them. I had my time with them. It's not like I can't really sell copies of them. But yeah, I'm like, if I ever move, which I do plan on moving, I plan on moving south one day. It's going to be a pain to move those things. Have I got any sculpts I robbed from Andy? I mean, I didn't rob any, but I have a few of them. I have his witch. I have his Nosferatu, and I have a big silicone bust of it was like a Vincent Price caricature. It's got like glass eyes and stuff. It's hanging in a closet. I don't even have it out. So yeah, I got a little bit. Oh, and a couple of little small castings when I was doing some work for Sideshow, just as like you know, quality control type of thing. I have some of that stuff hanging around. Neil Tasker. Yeah, I will. There's going to be a full video of this on my channel. I just wanted to live stream sort of like concepting it, just to, you know, see where I wanted to go with it, just chat with you guys, whatever. But I'm going to wipe this whole thing out, and it's going to be probably close to this. I don't know if I'm going to kind of keep the same thing. I was just kind of having fun today with it. But I'm gonna have to redo it on video, so there'll be a proper video made, so stay tuned for that. It'll be coming up soon. I'm not gonna take months to do it. Creepy Clay Cave, thank you so much. I started sculpting, I don't know, like 20 years ago, something like that. Maybe a little before, but like I would say seriously about 20 years ago. That's when I started kind of, you know, taking it seriously. Tips. Honestly, the best tips anybody's ever told me were to never be afraid to change anything, no matter how much time you spent on it. Don't be afraid to just dig into it. You know, learn the difference between critiques, like honest critiques, and learn to accept them versus just somebody just being a douchebag or whatever. And have fun, you know, try to do the best you can. You got to have patience. If you're not having fun with it, you're not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to last very long. I can tell you that. But just keep at it. Keep at it. You know, research your anatomy, do some drawing, sketching, sketch with clay, try all different materials. Just immerse yourself in it. Just get into it. Dig in. Don't get too frustrated. You know, it's hard. It's going to seem daunting and hard at first, but it should be a fun process. If you enjoy it, you'll keep doing it and naturally level up. That's what I did. And yeah, observe. Ivans is right. Observe from life. Definitely. I don't know. What time is it? 6:30. This is probably cool. Anybody have any suggestions? Any more questions before? I'll probably wipe this guy out real quick on stream, and then we'll call it. Having fun is the most important part of any passion. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of... I'm going to have to pull all this off, but... kind of do something fun with this thing, too, here. We'll have his little... I don't know. Give you an idea. Do something. Something. You can kind of get an idea. Block that off. See, I do a lot of that too, where it's you can kind of imagine things with your eyes. So you see what he looks like with his little thing there. We're definitely going to work on this anatomy, cleaning, you know. I'll probably leave it kind of rough because, like I said, I've been enjoying doing the rougher sculpts lately. Freak God no knows. Yeah, strawberry bubblegum. He is kind of like bubblegum. Cool character, though. I always love Majin Buu. Yeah, maybe... I don't know if these are, like, too deep. I don't know. I'm going to play with this some more for sure. It's such a crazy crease. And then just tighten that up. I mean, everything's crooked and whatever, but you get the idea. So anyway, as far as, yeah, again, as far as schedules, if you guys are just joining me, whatever, first off, hit the like button, subscribe. I don't know if, I think I have alerts turned on for the channel, but I don't know, maybe not. That's something I got to get into in the back end here. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to try to be on here at least once a week. At least once, maybe twice. Ideally, it'd be cool to do like a Friday and Saturday. Like I would love to do like a sculpting stream and then a gaming stream, like whatever, either Friday or Saturday. I'm going to try to be on a little bit later again tonight doing some gaming. So we'll be out of the studio. We can discuss more, chat, whatever. Hopefully, as long as I can get things set up on time again. I've been having a hell of a time with my cameras and my mics, and I have 2 different setups, and I'm like bringing stuff, you know, certain elements I have to bring with me, like some of the plugs and obviously this microphone and my camera and all that stuff. So I'm going to wind up eating some dinner, getting that set up, and hopefully doing some gaming tonight. But yeah, the schedule, I apologize. Like I'm really trying my best so that I don't want to say anything until I know that I can commit to it. That way I'm not having to make posts about like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make it tonight or whatever. So stay tuned for that. Easiest way is to just watch the community tab. I don't really use Twitter, X, whatever it's called. Social media stuff. You know, I'm on Instagram. I have a TikTok account that I don't really post on much. I know I got to just get better with all this stuff. So hopefully one step at a time. We're starting with doing some streams and showing up to YouTube because to me, this is the most important platform. You know, that's where my audience is. This is what I love doing. I like making long form content. That's not just kind of brain rot stuff. And so, yeah, I'm trying to be here interact with you guys, say hi, what's up, give you some updates and stuff. And yeah, I guess that's basically going to do it for that. So I guess we could get a pretty good short out of this. Let me make sure the camera's in focus. Oh, that's better. And where's my phone? I'm going to snap a quick picture and we're going to wreck this guy. That's funny. All right. So it gives me an idea. Like I said, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to Mr. Majin Buu. But stay tuned for the video. It's going to be better than this. And yeah, I guess that's all we got. So all that work. No. He's bumming. All right, that should make a cool short. Maybe, who knows? All right, guys, catch me in. I'm going to try to get online for maybe like 9:30-ish. It might be a little later, might be a little earlier. Just kind of watch the space if you're interested in the gaming stream. Come say hi again. Let's get some spooks going. And I will see you all then. For now, have a great weekend, and I'll see you then.